So, Excellency, dear friend Christos Stylianides, Minister of Climate Crisis and Civil Protection, dear Rania, dear members of the Hellenic Swedish Chamber, and I'd like to immediately take this opportunity also to thank the Secretariat of the Chamber for the hard work in realizing what we're going to do together today. And also, of course, just like Rania, to thank the amazing sponsors that made this occasion possible. And for me, as Swedish ambassador, it's of course fantastic to stand here before you today to look at the theme of today, climate action, challenges and solutions. Sounds like a formulation stolen from one of Minister Stylianides' speeches. And let me take this opportunity also, Minister, to congratulate Prime Minister Mitsotakis and your good self to the passing on Wednesday of the new climate law in the Hellenic Parliament. That was quite an achievement. And speaking as a Swedish ambassador, as you know, Sweden has now reached a point where more than 60% of the energy mix in Sweden comes from renewables. So as a country, the Swedish government, I would dare say all Swedish political parties stand firmly behind this vision of increasing this even more. You might know that the Swedish target is to become completely fossil neutral by 2045, where we're well on the way to reach this target. And in this respect, I'm also particularly happy and honored to welcome Professor Thomas Kåberger, who is with us today. Professor Kåberger is also a former Director General of the Swedish Energy Agency and one of Europe's foremost experts on energy and renewables. And what is going on in Sweden right now is actually not only exciting, I believe it's a benchmark also in relation to other countries. You will have seen that the northern part of Sweden has in a very short time become a leading example internationally when it comes to green industrial transition. And there's been huge industrial investments, something like 10 billion euros in the north of Sweden, not least in battery factories and fossil-free steel production. I think when we discuss these topics today, the amount of challenges that have piled on Europe, Sweden, Greece are by now quite impressive. I mean, we had economic crisis, we had the COVID crisis, we had the migration crisis, and on top of it, we now have the tragedy unfolding in Ukraine because of the Russian invasion. But the Russian invasion of Ukraine has also really put the searchlights on the importance of green transition and the work that Minister Stylianides is leading in Greece on increasing the focus on renewable energy. And I can assure you, Minister, that there's a lot of Swedish interest also in the transition ongoing in Greece, for example, in relation to the LNG terminal in Alexandroupolis and the vision of that being established by December 2023, and the implications not just in relation to the the climate, but also in over time ensuring European energy independency, because that to me is a very fine example of what I know that the Greek government has for quite some time now been on the barricades for, namely European strategic autonomy. And you can't have European strategic autonomy without European, a certain amount of European independence when it comes to energy. So let me put a stop to myself there, but also like Rania emphasized the importance of the visit last week in Stockholm of Minister Fragogyannis, the conversations he had with the Swedish Minister of Trade, which to a large extent focused on exactly the topics on the agenda for this event. And as Rania also emphasized, the opening of our dynamic chambers chapter in Stockholm. So that will be that for me, and without further ado, I bounce the ball back to you, Maria, so you can